Restored Republic via GCR, update as of April 26, 2020. Divide they try, fail they will, where we go one we go all. To support POTUS, follow Q and trust plan. Let us fast and pray for the thousands of traumatized children who are being rescued from underground torture chambers of the cabal. And, for the thousands of military troops who are risking their lives to save them. The ancient doctrine of fasting and prayer was explained at the 10:30 and 32 seconds mark here, www.youtube.com web link. Judy note. 1. On Wednesday the 15th of April the elders released global currency reset monies from the Dubai One holding account, meaning that the RV was rolling out and could not be stopped. 2. By Monday the 20th of April oil market price crashed, destroyed the deep state's petrodollar, paving the way for the gold standard to be announced. Rumor was that would happen next Sunday the 26th of April. 3. No one knew the exact time of release of the 800-S, although it was said to happen around the time of disclosure. Q gave us a hint for when disclosure would start when he said, C before D, or children would come before disclosure was released. Children, as Commander-in-Chief of the military, President Trump and the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force have been over the rescue of thousands of traumatized children from the cabal's deep underground torture chambers across the U.S., including in a tunnel under New York City that ran beneath Central Park, connected to the Clinton Foundation building and then went on to New York Harbor where the Navy hospital ship Comfort, on order of President Trump, had been docked for weeks. On Wednesday the 22nd of April, with seemingly its mission accomplished, Comfort left for its home port in Virginia. Disclosure, seemingly not coincidentally, on that same Wednesday the 22nd of April WikiLeaks dumped all their files on the internet, everything from H. Clinton's emails, McCain's guilt, Vegas shooting done by an FBI sniper, Steve Jobs' HIV letter, Bodster, Afghanistan, Syria, Iran, Bilderberg, CIA agents arrested for rape and the WHO pandemic preparedness document from 2009, file.wikileaks.org web link. 4. On Sunday the 26th of April the gold standard was expected to be announced, and according to the Iraqi stock market website, and after being closed since 17 March, they would reopen with a new dinar rate on Sunday. 5. Presently dragon bonds were paying out to provide liquidity for Tiers 1-4, plus prosperity packages were going out and were scheduled to be finished up by next week. 6. Markets, in Iraq the lower denominations hit early Thursday the 23rd of April. The RV could be any time from Sunday the 26th of April to Wednesday the 29th of April. CMKX, prosperity packages and 800-S to set appointments would go at the same time. 7. Bruce, the gold standard could be announced on Sunday the 26th of April. The intermediates should be completed by Monday morning the 27th of April. The 800-S should go out around lunchtime EDT that Monday the 27th of April, and Tier 4 could start with appointments then, or wait until Tuesday the 28th of April. Appointments for the contract rates would go until Friday the 15th of May. The new money could come out that same Friday the 15th of May. The fiat dollar won't be any good after 90 days, or by the 15th of August. A restored republic. Right now there was a war being fought against the cabal with the purpose of rescuing traumatized children caged in their underground tunnels. According to the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, those tunnels ran throughout the U.S. from Mexico to Canada and California to New York. Since last October the U.S. military and Marines brought out of those tunnels thousands of tortured children, babies and teens, some deceased. The operation was ongoing as they discovered even more tunnels. As the Commander-in-Chief, President Trump and First Lady Melania were dedicated to saving the children first and then arresting their perpetrators. Trump knew that many people would be extremely upset about the extensiveness of the child kidnapping network and torture chambers from where the children were being rescued. He also wanted a smooth transition to a restored republic. Therefore, he was only releasing a small amount of information about the military rescue missions of babies, children and youth. To give you a hint as to why a tunnel ran to the Clinton Foundation building in New York, a few days ago in a WikiLeaks dump on the internet, the Clinton file contained an email dated January 25, 2011 3:25 p.m. It was from Hillary Clinton to Huma Abedin, Barack Obama, John Podesta, B. Affleck and Nancy Pelosi, and referred to $65,000 worth of hot dogs flown into the White House for our pizza arrangements. Hillary objected to using the White House for a party they were planning, asking Obama to restrict it to predetermined locations. In Pizzagate language, hot dog was code for pedophilia with a boy and pizza was code for pedophilia with a girl. Many of the over 170,000 sealed indictments filed in federal courts across the nation since President Trump took office were now being served. Most contained charges of pedophilia. It was rumored that billionaire George Soros and former U.S. Presidents George Bush Jr. and Barack Obama were arrested and presently in, or headed for Gitmo, where they faced military tribunals for treason and other serious crimes. Docs.google.com web link. B. April 24, 2020 Morning Chat with Marks, www.twitch.tv web link. 1. In Iraq, the lower denominations hit early yesterday, Thursday the 23rd of April. They were forbidding any purchases with the US dollar, forcing them to exchange. 2. In Iraq, I'm hearing anytime from Sunday the 26th of April to Wednesday the 29th of April. They were definitely positioning for it. I am trying to get them to send me digital pictures of the lower denomination dinar, smuggled out. If I get them, I will post them. 3. My understanding of CMKX and Prosperity packages is that they will go at the same time as the release, reset. People would literally be knocking on doors with deliveries at the same time. You are hearing that folks are getting emails and the news that this has gone and they can call and make appointments. 4. I'm told that the banks already had part of your packages. It's a two-part thing. The bank has one part and the second part would be delivered to you. You then go to the bank to finish your redemption process. This is how I hear they are supposed to handle it. I have spoken to bankers that claim they have physically seen the banking part of the packages. Judy note, the elders have taken over GCR, RV release, re-release Dubai funds, RV the Iraqi dinar on Wednesday the 22nd of April, with public announcement by Monday the 27th of April and scheduled Tier 4B Internet Group, US, 800-S release for sometime between Monday the 27th of April and Wednesday the 28th of April, with appointments beginning before Friday the 1st of May. April 25, 2020 Saturday evening Fleming military intel contact. This has been an extremely complicated process. There was still a war going on with the deep state and their coronavirus pandemic and shutdown. The White Dragon elders released heritage funds on the 20th of April, pushing everything out and leaving the U.S. to follow. On Wednesday the 22nd of April, POTUS Trump signed an executive order closing U.S. borders in order to comply with GCR protocol. Trump then told his Department of Defense, UST, State Department, and White House teams to get everything expedited for a shotgun start including Tier 4B redemption. Exchanges started next week and before Friday the 1st of May. On Friday Trump wanted to reopen the U.S. economy. The U.S. Treasury and State Department teams were intensely focused with the White House team to optimize and finalize the final process and settlement procedures of the RV release so it could start next week, to make the Tier 4B redemption exchange process as simple as possible and to optimize the help we each received from our assigned wealth manager and trust company team working for us in liaison with the U.S. Treasury. The UST and State Department teams were working hard to show POTUS Trump, Department of Defense and elders that they would get the RV, GCR release started globally this next week. It was speculated that Mnuchin's fate may depend on it, as everyone knows Mnuchin hindered the RV release for the deep state months ago. They were not ready to start us earlier this past week because 1. The old SWIFT system remnants were still being replaced by the new quantum financial system and completely disconnected from the global banking system. 2. This was so that deep state operatives could no longer use it post-RV to steal funds through ping and tap methods from post-RV Tier 4B currency holders' funded accounts. 3. Last week the worker bell, deep state obstacles by deep state govts and leaders like Shinzo Abe of Japan, and deep state leaders in China and North Korea. 4. CDC anti-coronavirus infection measures had to finish final checks in all redemption centers by Monday the 27th of April. 5. Dubai One had to be refunded because the elders allowed the U.S. Gov. to draw Dubai One funds over the past 3 weeks for stimulus bill disbursements. The U.S. Treasury still had to finish staging of stimulus payments and loans to go out over the next week. The $1,200 economic impact payment was the beginning of Universal Basic Income, UBI, coming out of D1 funds through the Trump administration according to GCR debt relief and debt forgiveness programs. These programs would change every citizen's life permanently going forward. 6. There have still been thousands of arrests going on with Department of Defense security teams picking up and containing deep state operatives and rounding up released gang criminals who were released from jails and prisons in California, MI, NY, NC, GA, and other states. On Monday the 20th of April it began what the Chinese elders called a 10-day paradigm shift, Monday the 20th of April to Thursday the 30th of April. The top 27 White Dragon Chinese elders said to all countries that they were going to push hard to get the redemption and exchanges started, plus the 27 payout category disbursements going between Monday the 20th of April and Thursday the 30th of April. From last Monday the 20th of April onward massive amounts of money from the global collateral accounts have been moving globally. Everything was in motion for a shotgun start release for next week. The elders started moving money based on the heritage funds, which were valued at quintillions of dollars, as well as the dragon bonds that the White Dragon family top 27 elders had. That's why the oil market crashed last month 420 and went negative as it was getting rid of petrodollar funds held by the cabal, deep state. The Department of Defense, U.S. Treasury and White House teams were now intensely focused on getting the RV, GCR release started next Monday to Wednesday 27-29 April. The new dragons, which should be the White Dragons, were cleaning up the minions. The U.S. Treasury was following instructions of the new dragons and they were out to prove to the elders that they could get the exchange done. The elders were pushing through the RV, GCR, and we would start next week. All GCR/RV releases, redemption appointments were to commence before Friday the 1st of May. The Department of Defense gave the green light word evening the 22nd of April that started the final GCR/RV release sequence, the same day POTUS Trump signed the executive order to close USA borders according to GCR protocols to release the GCR/RV. Iraq was allowed to RV the dinar on that wed the 22nd of April. Word from an honorary White Dragon confirmed that Dubai 1 and Dubai 2 opened Thursday the 23rd of April and the elders started collecting their due. Hong Kong and Zurich pulled the trigger Friday the 24th of April at 9:30 am EDT. On Friday morning the 24th of April at 9:30 am EDT onward there was full start of release activity and getting the adjudicated intermediate accounts adjusted, with final payouts to start any time in wed 27-29 April. The Forex was updated at 2 am EDT on Friday the 24th of April with the rates for 22 RV currencies not yet locked in. Currency hold rate 100 hash email lists were told to have those lists to Wells Fargo by close of business day on Friday the 24th of April. On Friday the 24th of April paymasters in Zurich, NYC, Miami and elsewhere were paying out clients. The U.S. was pulling the trigger Saturday the 25th of April so that on Tuesday 27-28 April liquidity could be released. Since last Sunday the 19th of April the top 27 White Dragon Chinese elders and the grandfather have been insisting that the final RV, GCR release be finished. They no longer wanted to wait on the U.S. to start. But since giving ultimatums to Trump, DOD and USD did not work, they decided to start completing the final release process last Sunday night the 19th of April into Monday the 20th of April and to let the US follow their lead. The US had no choice in the matter anymore because the RV, GCR monies have been released and were moving in a way that the US, Trump, DOD, UST, etc., could not stop anymore. As adjudicated in the past and legally the Tier 2-3 intermediates, fines and penalties, CMKX, farm claims, Native American Indian accounts, the sovereign accounts, and other adjudicated accounts, have to be paid out this weekend by the trustees who are making final payouts and adjustments to accounts. The grandfather said that the global collateral accounts, Tier 2-3 sovereign account funds, Tier 2-3 intermediate accounts, Tier 3-4A Admiral top-level accounts, Reno inner and outer core group accounts, and Hong Kong funds would be paid out this weekend. Over the weekend CMKX deliveries expected to be going out, but DoD security teams wanted to keep those deliveries to recipients under wraps. Legally everything had to be done before Tier 4A, B started redemption exchange apps, so that the intermediate accounts were accessed at the same time we were started anytime Mentawed 27-29 April. The dinar RV rate would be public through the ISX by Sun the 26th of April. On Sunday night at midnight the 26th of April they planned to start locking things down so Tier 4B could start exchanging redeeming by midweek through Friday the 1st of May and beyond. The dinar and all rates would be locked in by Monday the 27th of April. Iraq had some problems with the CPI.IQ website being hacked that they are working on to resolve now. DoD security teams input the security codes to start final payout disbursements and redemptions exchanges. They were expecting rates locked in by Monday morning the 27th of April. The FINMA, Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority, through Credit Suisse was to prepare the archives payment. China has already sent the confirmation letter to banks to start on Monday the 27th of April. All banks have been told to get ready for Wells Fargo to send out 500,000+ emails to start Tier 4A, by next week, anytime Monday to Wednesday 27-29 April. Globally there would be about 6 million people going through the Tier 4A, B process of redemptions exchanges and full account access at the same time. On Friday the 24th of April the U.S. received notice to start Tuesday the 28th of April, except our guy's window is any time between Mentawed 27-29 April. The Admiral was expected to do things on Saturday the 25th of April for a Monday 27 to Wednesday the 29th of April start. We would be started in Tier 4B with notifications and apartments any time between Monday the 27th of April and Wednesday the 29th of April. The Elders, Department of Defense, the Trump White House, and U.S. Treasury were trying to get the final release and redemptions started ASAP the week of Monday the 27th of April because of the IMF release of several $100 billion to humanitarian projects globally the week of Sun the 3rd of May. Intake people for the large amounts of ZIM, IQD, historical bonds and dragon bond notes were in high gear. They would be released with the heritage funds and other global collateral accounts to all downline tiers this weekend and from the 20th of April onward next week. The World Bank has been buying mother boxes of ZIM at a very fast pace over the past week through weekend and next week. Currency exchange and ZIM redemption. They wanted currency holders, especially ZIM holders, to go in as quickly as possible to the first appointment that would last 20-25 minutes. The Elders wanted currency and ZIM holders to get the highest rates for doing humanitarian projects. Every currency holder would get an equal chance at the highest contract rates for their project presentations. It would be a level playing field. First appointment, you would receive a debit, credit card. For ZIM holders especially that would contain millions on it to draw on between the first and second appointments. Over the first 10 days after your first appointment your assigned wealth manager would help you choose one of the 6 vetted U.S. Treasury sanctioned trust companies, Abbott Downing and equivalent trust companies. Second appointment for those with humanitarian projects, either currency or ZIM holders. The wealth manager and private banking team you choose would assist you going forward with your humanitarian and job creation project outlines. They would be happy to take your project presentation to the U.S. Treasury to get the higher rates for your ZIM and or the highest contract rates for your currencies. They would have 6 months, 180 days, after redeeming, exchanging to seek the higher rates for your project outlines from the U.S. Treasury. Travel restrictions. The Departments of Defense and Justice, State Department and White House teams have been working out logistics with state governors about currency holders traveling to redemption centers. They had to change a lot of things based on coronavirus quarantine travel restrictions to those involved in getting the RV, GCR released. They were still working out travel to redemption centers in states with lockdowns. In every state with stay-at-home orders, everyone including currency holders, could tell any law enforcement officer that you were on essential business travel going to the bank, and that should be sufficient to let you travel to your assigned redemption center. Every state's lockdown orders included the ability to travel for essential business like shopping and going to the bank. They still may have the travel permission document on the SafeLink website for currency holders, but all will be made clear when the 800# notifications come out. The 800# call representatives would give currency holders definitive instructions and answer all questions. Be restored Republic. Right now there was a war being fought against the cabal with the purpose of rescuing traumatized children caged in their underground tunnels. According to the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, those tunnels ran throughout the U.S. from Mexico to Canada and California to New York. Since last October, the U.S. military and Marines brought out of those tunnels thousands of tortured children, babies and teens, some deceased. The operation was ongoing as they discovered even more tunnels. As the Commander-in-Chief, President Trump and First Lady Melania were dedicated to saving the children first and then arresting their perpetrators. Trump knew that many people would be extremely upset about the extensiveness of the child kidnapping network and torture chambers from where the children were being rescued. He also wanted a smooth transition to a restored republic. Therefore, he was only releasing a small amount of information about the military rescue missions of babies, children and youth. Many of the over 170,000 sealed indictments filed in federal courts across the nation since President Trump took office were now being served. Most contained charges of pedophilia. It was rumored that billionaire George Soros and former U.S. Presidents George Bush Jr. and Barack Obama were arrested and presently in, or headed for Gitmo, where they faced military tribunals for treason and other serious crimes. Docs.google.com web link. C before D. Q. When Q said C before D, he was likely referring to rescue of the over 50,000 traumatized children from underground tunnel torture chambers of the cabal across the nation that has been ongoing since at least October 2019. Tunnels, Utah.b web link. BeforeItIsNews.com web link. BeforeItIsNews.com web link. BeforeItIsNews.com web link. There was a tunnel under New York City that ran beneath Central Park, connected to the Clinton Foundation building and then went on to New York Harbor, where on order of Commander-in-Chief President Trump, the Navy hospital ship Comfort had been docked for weeks. With seemingly its mission accomplished, Comfort left for its home port in Virginia on Wednesday the 22nd of April. Coincidentally, on that same Wednesday the 22nd of April, WikiLeaks dumped all their files on the internet, everything from H. Clinton's emails, McCain's guilt, Vegas shooting done by an FBI sniper, Steve Jobs' HIV letter, Bodster, Afghanistan, Syria, Iran, Bilderberg, CIA agents arrested for rape and the WHO pandemic preparedness document from 2009, file.wikileaks.org web link. See Cabal, Deep State, Canon, full-length film, highly recommended viewing www.youtube.com web link. D indictments galore, www.youtube.com web link. E April 24, 2022 Medical doctors explain CV-19, Operation Disclosure 1.blogspot.com web link. Health system shutting down without cause. Isolating the healthy people doesn't make sense. No need for isolation now because they have the data to do what needs to be done to defeat the virus. See International Child Sex Trafficking. Epstein Network map published, freespeak.online web link. Satanic Pedophilia Network exposed, Fiona Barnett, theftfreedomarticles.com web link. D-currency exchange, bond redemption, please treat the below as my guess. Official instructions would be available upon RV liquidity and 800# release. Warning, do not give your foreign currency or ZIM bonds to anyone else to exchange or redeem for you. If a group leader was telling you that they could obtain better rates for you, or if they were saying not to go to your appointment at an exchange center or bank, they were not telling the truth. Anyone could exchange and redeem their own currencies and would have the same ability to obtain the higher contract rates as anyone else, as long as they did it at a licensed exchange center or bank. I'm not aware of how someone outside the US could redeem ZIM bonds. That question should be asked to the person who set your appointment. An hour or so prior to 800# release, Wells Fargo and HSBC banks would send out over 508,000 emails to currency and ZIM bond holders worldwide, along with instructions on how to exchange and redeem within your own country. Those emails would include links to a secured website. Clicking on that website with your computer or phone would automatically generate a code that identified your individual exchange, redemption as you set your appointment. Exchange information would also be available on certain websites as below. Dinar Chronicles, www.dinarchronicles.com web link. Dinari Recaps, www.dinarrecaps.com web link. Markts, www.twitch.tv web link. Markts Twitter, m.twitter.com web link. Bruce, bigcooluniverse.com web link. TNT Tony, twitter.com web link. Dinar Detectives, dinardetectives.com. E-currency and Zim bond redemption. This information applied to redeemers in the US. Different countries would have their own regulations and rules. Please treat as my opinion only. 1. Markts. The redemption process would be done in 2 parts. The banks already had one part of your package. The second part would be delivered to you. You then go to the bank to finish your redemption process. I have spoken to bankers that claim they have physically seen the banking part of the packages. 2. On the appointment at a redemption center you would exchange currencies at contract rates and redeem Zim at the default rate. Those monies would be put in your account. 3. We have been told that the default Zim rate of $11 million per 100 T Zim note would be offered at that first appointment. You could negotiate for higher rates in a second appointment with your wealth manager and private banking team. 4. President Trump has given U.S. banks a list of 250 humanitarian and job creation projects to invest in. Your wealth manager and banking team could explain the details at your appointment with them. 5. If you wanted higher rates than offered at the redemption center, at your appointment with your wealth manager and banking team they would explain the international humanitarian projects you could invest in and you could present your reasons and or your humanitarian project and ask for those higher rates. It was recommended that you go for those higher rates at your second appointment so you could help those in need. 6. If you had any amount of Zim bonds up to 9 100T notes, didn't have a humanitarian project and wanted a higher than default rate, then at your second appointment, your wealth manager and team would be happy to show you the list of 250 humanitarian and job creation projects to invest in for higher than default rates on the Zim. 7. If you had any amount of Zim bonds up to 9 100T notes and had a humanitarian project, and or if you wanted to invest in the sanctioned international projects, then at your second appointment, your wealth manager and team would help you obtain a higher Zim rate. 8. Many Zim holders have 10 or more 100T Zim notes, so the default rate would be considered adequate without being awarded higher contract or Zim rates. F. 22 Faces, Inside the Extraordinary Life of Jenny Hill and Her 22 Multiple Personalities, Judy Byington. Warning: Jenny gave a graphic description of being raped, tortured and forced to view a child sacrifice at the tender age of 5, not unlike sordid experiences of thousands of other child victims of satanic worshippers. Such perpetrator followers of Satan were organized from the U.S. Incorporated's CIA, Queen Elizabeth's, Vatican's Ninth Circle child sacrifice cult on down to the Clintons, Hollywood and Pizzagate and local teenage governs. They appeared funded by this same cabal that ran our global monetary system, the very organization that was in the process of being brought down by activation of the global currency reset. It's no wonder that President Trump has stated, "These people are sick." www.youtube.com web link. Judy note: I do not now, nor have I ever, received monies for writing my updates and articles. The compensation has been in having outlets to help save the children by exposing truths about the very secretive satanic ritual abuse, pedophilia and child sacrifice that was rampant in our international society. To inquire about our international child abuse recovery, trauma survivors, CARTS, humanitarian program, email, info@22faces.com. The above was a summary of information from the internet. It would be up to the reader to do their own research and decide whether or not it was valid. A thank you to those dedicated and brave intel providers who wished to remain unknown, to humble Wild Fear Our Lady who was adept at exposing the truth, to Brad who did great research and Ken who uncovered almost unlimited intel on pedophilia to help us save the children. Divide they try, fail they will, where we go one we go all. To support POTUS, follow Q and trust plan. Let us thank Q that the reset has finally come to be. I wish you well in your humanitarian efforts and look forward to seeing you on the other side where together, we will make life better for all.